Aloha, this is Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. You might hear a little bit of noise, but that's a fan that I got on me because it's really hot in here today, even with the AC going. The first thing I want to show you today that I pointed out this weekend. I told you all that despite the huge volume that came on the New York Stock Exchange, look at this volume right here. Look at this volume spike. Look at this volume spike on the NASDAQ. I mean, look, I mean, the NASDAQ even had a volume spike. It wasn't as much, but, it still had a big spike. Let's see what the S&P 500 had. Look at this spike. I mean, look, it's a big spike, but nothing was more apparent than the New York Stock Exchange, where I could notice a significant pop from it going from up 4.5% to up 5.3%. A 2-day total for this thing. That's a 3-day total. Let me give you a 2-day total of this thing. 10.04% on huge volume that I personally can't see it crack, going all the way back to the year 2000, to the year when this sold off. Now let me see if the NASDAQ did the same thing too. I'm not sure if it did, but let's see if it did. And the NASDAQ, yeah, whoa, the NASDAQ's 2-day volume. Yeah, you combine the 2 days of what it did there, and as you can see, its volume is way larger than any volume that it saw, going all the way back to 2000 when the top started. This is when the top officially started, and as you can see from the top of the NASDAQ to right now, we are still off 55%. But during that time, we've had stocks that have made moves like Taser that have decided to go up from as much as, 5,310%. I mean, even though the stock market has gone down 55%, there's still some beauties in there that decide to move up 5,310%. But the bottom line is that volume was huge yesterday, and I figured with this amount of volume, this is huge, this volume. I just figured with this amount of volume on the daily move alone, with the index up 5.3% on the New York Stock Exchange, and adding the NASDAQ. Let's do the NASDAQ. We're not going to spend too much time, but I really have to emphasize this for you guys. I really do. To see the NASDAQ gap up 74%, and just to see it up 3.4% in 2 days, it's up 8.34%. Then it gets up a little less. But look at this 4-day chart. Do you see how the 4-day chart engulfs the previous 2-day patterns? And look at the volume. The volume is just bigger on these 4 days than anything I've ever seen. And that goes for the New York Stock Exchange too. I mean, in 2007 it tried, but it still couldn't quite do it. And it's just, it did do it. It did. But it didn't do it on the New York Stock Exchange. And just by looking at the NASDAQ, that's just a miracle to me, just to see that much volume on one index go that far up. And let's see a 3-day, and we'll go back as far back as we can on a 3-day. Seeing it go all the way back to 1980. 2000. It's the year 2000. Let's do a 9-day chart. Look at the 9-day chart even. The volume on the 9-day chart, as you can see it right here, doesn't even, the next closest one is 2007. So let's use an 8-day chart. No, the 9 days better. The 9 days, let's see the monthly chart. I'm just playing around now. But just to show you how much it was worth, here's a yearly chart. Look at the yearly chart showing each of the years going back to the first year that the NASDAQ is on this particular stock software, Telechart, TC2000, TC2007, Telechartnet, whatever you want to call it. But as you can see, it's the most volume ever. So clearly, you would think that with it being a big up day, I'm finally getting back on point, but I have to go through all this. I'm sorry. If we have to chop it in half, we have to. The biggest point should be is that I should have had a ton of longs. I should have been loaded to the gills with longs. But now that we're a day late, I can tell you, we didn't have any longs. The one long that we did have, I'll show you it now, UFI. It looked like it could do good, but it looked a little too far away from its 50-day moving average. Still, very tight chart, very tight chart, very max green bop, green volume on its way up. And it didn't have that bad of a day today. Today, it did pull back, but the pullback was normal. The pullback had a tail, and there was a person that made a comment saying, oh, I wouldn't go long this as it's too far back. He might be right for somebody that trades for like the little trades, but dude, we're going for the 2,390% gains, and we're not interested in 5% moves. So if you're interested in 5% moves, you're at the wrong website. This website teaches you how to make 600, 700, 800%, 900%, 1,000, 2,000% moves. We don't care about 5 to 10% gains. We only take them if we're forced to take them. But as you can see on UFI, it still looks fine. It still has its max green bop. The volume pulled back and everything looks fine. And since I'm showing you that, I might as well show you what the other long, since we added to it, which means that it's already going up. I don't think that it's bad that we do this. Let's go take a look at what MASI did today. And as you can see, MASI pulled back. It's still above the 50-day moving average. Notice all the green bop right here and all the green bop there and all the green bop here. But do you just notice how that even though that the stock has a lot of green bop on it and has this nice tight flat action with these nice big top, accumulation bars, it is a medical stock. I still want to show you the stock chart that it comes from, the NASDAQ, and show you that the NASDAQ still has plenty of weight on it, as it can't stay above its 200-day moving average, can't get above the 50-day moving average, tried to gap higher, failed the gap higher, and then went lower. I know that I went on and on today, and I'm sorry that I only showed you those indexes. Let me show you the S&P Small Cap Index, just so you know what it looks like. And you can see that it's still above the 50 and 200-day moving average. So there is still hope that we could turn into a rally market. I mean, UFI didn't break down today, did it? So if UFI didn't break down, and if let's just look at another one just to show you guys some of my best stocks. See which ones I like. Which is the XSI? Is that it? See, even XSI, guys, even whenever it just moves sideways, it does it with the chart pattern, even with red bop. It shows lower volume on most of the days, and it moves up. So it slightly moves up, and since the very beginning, when we went long that very first day, we kind of got a load. We kind of bought it like right around this area. Where's the C? As you can see, we still have a 75% gain, And if you load it up like I did from right here, your loaded up gain is 35%. And that's not that bad in a market that during this time, according to the NASDAQ, has fallen 10%. So I hope you guys are learning a little bit more by watching these videos. And for those that aren't watching the videos, I'm going to start putting out phone calls. And I want my best friends and family that hasn't been watching this to start watching this to save your butt. We might be on another downtrend leg. I mean, look at what these were the old leaders, guys. These were the past leaders. Do you not see them split and roll over? And then let's just show you like Apple. Split, and then it's got another split that's going to be coming up, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I don't see it now, but you can see the rollover. We can see the Baidu. We can see it rolling over, and it doesn't have any split. FSLR It doesn't have any splits, but it's rolling over.